This is the entrance to Shark River Park, where they want to put the CDF, approximately 15 acres, so they can put the spoils from the dredging at Shark River. Right here you see a, I guess you would call it a wetlands area on this 15-acre site. It's estimated that 100,000 cubic yards of material will be removed from the Shark River and placed in this area. Now, this site is located about a mile away from the river at an elevation of 75 feet above sea level. Yeah, and there's the wetlands. Okay, here we have where the Jumping Brook and the Shark River meet on its way towards the main Shark River. This is where all the water would have to go back into the river. This photo represents an aerial view from Google Earth of the proposed CDF site, and what I've done is overlaid the tax map from Neptune Township. On it you're going to see a yellow arrow and a red arrow. Now the yellow arrow points to a 40-foot wide American Water Company easement which carries the water from the Glendola Reservoir to the Old Cortlandt Avenue pumping station. It's been estimated that it will take 5,000 dump trucks to remove 100,000 cubic yards of silt. Now if you'll notice, there's only one way out of this site, and that is over this water pipe. That means that there's going to be 10,000 crossings of dump trucks, 5,000 of them empty and 5,000 of them filled up. Now the red arrow, what can we say about that? All I can say is God knows what's going to be on top of that, but that allows all of Wall and parts of Neptune's raw sewage to enter the sewer treatment plant. Recently I had the opportunity to talk to a Siegfried Hager. He's the president of the Hager Pumps Incorporated. And I asked him, sir, how many gallons of water would it take to pump 1 cubic yard of sand down the road a little? And he says, well, it would be at least 10-to-1 ratio. 10 parts water to 1 part sediment or sand. So if we're going to pump 100,000 cubic yards of sediment, it would require 1 million cubic yards of water to get that done. Now he said this 10-to-1 ratio would significantly get higher if you had to pump this sand or sediment up any elevations, or if the sediment is thick and gooey. So let's take this a little further. It would be 1 million cubic yards of water to get the job done. Now, being I have a computer, I looked up the weight of a cubic yard of water, and it's 1,682 pounds. If I times that by 1 million, we're talking over 1.5 billion pounds of water alone. Naturally, the 1.5 billion pounds won't be there all at once, but time takes its toll. If the water line is cracked by the trucks, or the sewer line is cracked by the equipment at the CDF site, who would be responsible to fix the problem, number one, and who would be responsible to correct the problems it might cause? For the next minute or so, you're going to see exactly what hydraulic dredging looks like from the tail end. In other words, disposal site. Okay, the next picture is using Google Earth, and these are both to scale. One is a picture of our proposed CDF site. Superimposed on top of it is Giant Stadium to give you a little perspective. Okay, if I take the playing field and add both end zones in, I'd have 6,360 cubic yards, 3 feet high. So, believe it or not, it would take 15.7 football fields piled 3 foot high to put 100,000 cubic yards. Okay, so now you say, oh, why do they have to be 3 feet high? Let's pile this stuff up 6 foot high. All right, it's going to take almost 8 football fields to do that. Let's get a little crazy and make believe that we made this berm big enough and high enough so it could hold 9 foot high. How many football fields would we need? Believe it or not, we'd need over 5 football fields to do that. 9 foot high. All right, let's go with the pile being 6 foot high. That's between 3 and 9, right? If you check it out, it's going to take 8 cycles to do this. Now, a cycle would be filling it up to be 6 foot high, taking it out, repairing the liner that was ruined by the trucks and the backhoes to get them in the trucks, and the seasonal problem. Now, if everything goes according to plan, the estimate of 4 to 5 years seems to be more reasonable than anything we've heard so far, and we have heard 4 to 5 years. Okay, so that's 4 to 5 years if nothing goes wrong. Just think what would happen if one day they look into the sludge and they find Jimmy Hoffa's watch. All things would stop. Geez, we'd never get this thing going again. And I'm throwing this in here just to give you an idea of what a 1 mile radius from the CDF site would encompass. Take a look. The yellow line is 1 mile from the CDF. Draw a circle in your mind and you got it figured out. Although this suggestion was given earlier at the initial meeting with Neptune Township, sort of makes sense. This is a piece of land that's dead land. Can't ever be used for anything, has never. It's between Route 35 and Main Street, between Avon and Belmar. I offered the suggestion to build a permanent cofferdam there. All the sludge could be pumped into there. It could be dewatered right there in the river, and the railroad, who has tracks going right through it, can take the dried mud and transport it up to Neptune. There's a rail yard there that can handle 34 rail cars. From there, they can do whatever they want with it. Take it out of the rail cars, put it on trucks, take it to dump sites, or take it on a train and take it somewhere else. Sell it. So being a permanent solution, this dredging could continue for years and eventually, possibly, dredge the whole Shark River without disrupting anything. Earlier, it was determined that it would take 1 million cubic yards of water to get the project done. That equates to over 202 million gallons. Let me see if I got this right. We're going to take over 200 million gallons of salt water from the Shark River, move it inland 1 mile, and raise it to an elevation of approximately 75 feet and place it on Monmouth County owned land. Hello, who am I talking with?
My name is Tracy Fay.
And your title is?
Principal biologist.
Okay, would it be true to say that Shark River clamming is restricted? It's called special restricted because of fecal chloroform contamination in the water.
Yes, based on NSSP guidelines, we classify the waters of Shark River as special restricted
And they cannot
based
be...
on fecal coliform test results.
All right. That's really all I'm looking for. And
Okay.
you're not doing anything that anybody else wouldn't do in your situation except telling the truth, correct?
To the best of my knowledge,
To
yes.
the best you... Hey, I want you to have a lovely weekend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
For almost 6 months now, the citizens of Neptune, its township officials, its county officials, have been bombarded with numbers, ideas, suggestions to get the Shark River dredged. I hope this visual presentation puts a lot of the figures in perspective. Even more important, it gives you a visual idea of just what hydraulic dredging looks like using a confined disposal field.